All right, hello everybody, and welcome back to the workshop, or welcome for the first time if it's your first time watching. Um, Basically, try to do something new here and really have a look and a dig into origins of things, meanings of words, and such like things. So I'll take you through. This one might be a bit scrappy, guys, because something popped up recently and it became important to go and get that finished, and I'll share it with you in the next one. But I had all this all prepared, so it's all good. It's all good fodder for um, showing the pathway, I guess, that I took to get here. So, okay, why in the last one we looked at the naming and why it's so important that we're a message for each other. All right, so. And then I thought, well, where do I go from here? What's the next step? Define. Define has been defined. And then I thought, well, yeah, there we go. Why is it important? Why is it important that we're a message to each other? So I thought, well, let's look at the word important. That's a good place to go. Just get me out of the way. Right, so I found, looking, that the I am prefix at the start, one, in the first instance, reverses the meaning of a word that begins with a B, an M, or a P. Right? Like as in impossible. So you take away the I am and it becomes possible. So it's reversing the possible, making it impossible. Right? But there's another second meaning or use available in English. Right? So and it can be used to mean in or into or towards or within before words that begin with B, M, and P. So I looked at one example and I found implant. That was equal to, you could insert plant into or plant in, plant towards, plant within, or you could do it at the front, in plant, into, in towards. And I looked at why, well, it's an IN prefix for what is now an IM word, so it didn't really make a lot of sense. So anyway, it's something I'll look into later. And let's have a look. All right. Okay. So in the list, looking at the list of words starting with IM, there's a lot of them, very exhaustive list. And when you take the IM off of all those words in that list, they are actual sort of standalone words in their own right, which all works. But then I couldn't find the portent, the portant at the end. It wasn't a word. It's not in English. Huh? Couldn't see the portent. What is going on? Where did it go hiding? Let's go move on. All right, non-English word. You search for it, it comes up, says it doesn't exist, but it might refer you to the ENT. Right? Because they're very common sounding, or they're very common word that sounds the same is portent. Portent. I looked up the word portent and then I see a whole heap of stuff here, lots of similes and a couple of different sort of contextual uses of the word here. So basically it says a portent is a sign or a warning. This is a presage, a harbinger, a signal, a promise, or a threat. There's duality there, see? There's positives and negative implications. It's not clear, right? So it can mean of future significance. See, and then this example given here in this case was an omen of grave portent for the tribe. I thought, well, that's a little strange in itself because it's kind of repeating itself there, isn't it? If a portent is described up here as an omen, right, saying an omen of a grave omen for the tribe. It was a sign of a grave sign for the tribe. So it could work, but yeah, it just seems a little odd. And then obviously down the bottom, we have its similes. Again, see significance, importance, import, meaning, meaningfulness. See, and we found meaning here in important. That ENT, but not the ANT word didn't exist. Kind of strange. Literary use here, an exceptional or wonderful person or a thing. And we were saying, weren't we, that the message was good, that we're a good message to each other. And so here I find it says it's a wonderful person. And then I look for up here. Right. Okay. So there's nothing about message, but then important is a message. It's a sign, a warning, prophecy, funny feeling. All right. So it's kind of complicated. There's a lot going on. So the port came from the old French port, which I guess was from the Latin porta. meaning to pass through. So a portal, pass through the portal, which is cool. So, but then that explains the port part of the word, but not the ANT or the ENT. So the ENT suffix there, it refers to causing or performing an action or to exist in a certain condition. So, okay, that's cool. Kind of makes sense. Transporting something is an action, so passing through something is an action. So, but it's a deception, isn't it? Because you think, why wouldn't it be consistent all the way through? I understand languages change and evolve and all that, but it's a fairly important word. So I think it's actually been conjoined, and this is kind of the example or conjugated, I think is the right description. But I think it was something like this, in reverse, starting at what we have down here, and the E was lost. But it's just so similar to I'm that I just thought, well, maybe I'm a message, I'm a symbol, I'm an omen. Seem to match. But I don't really understand how the prefix works there. It seems to be I am, I'm. It's interesting, right? So it comes down to the fact that we link back again to you were given a name because you're a message to each other. And I was given a name because I am a message. We all are. Okay, so the word important gets used now to describe any object of value, but only I'm important or important really should be used to describe the value of living things. We said it was an important message. You could see in the literary use back there how it was referring to a wonderful person. Because we're not objects, are we? This is kind of the magic. It's a bit of a mystery. We transcend from being just a physical object because of this magic, and it's how we influence each other. It's a cycle and an unbroken chain. Sorry guys, I'm not pretty picked up. It was late night. I have to admit I didn't get any sleep last night. I pretty well stayed up and then worked on it all day today. So yeah, we'll get through it anyway. It's all good. Every person is a message of the future, right? Because we are a sign that humanity can have everlasting life and that each person can have everlasting life. The original ancient agreement amongst people was that we are all equally valuable and we symbolize each other to acknowledge that we are an endless concept. This is the importance, the message and the meaning of life that I think our old people understood, our ancestors, right? We give each other everlasting life in a concept, as a concept, because in concept we are, right? Because we recognize that although we die, our particles do exist forever. Even if your particular name is forgotten to the sands of time, you have a name now while you're alive, and it serves to remind you in the now of your importance, right? That you're a link in the chain, and without you, the chain would be broken. Without each other, there'd be no chain at all. Right? So we say to each other, when we name each other, and when we meet each other, it reinforces the importance. See? I am important. I am a message for the future. You are important. You are a message for the future too. Okay? Say it to yourself now. Go on. It feels good, doesn't it, guys? I was saying it. It's kind of a laugh. You think, oh, it's weird. Imagine that was how we all just went around saying, oh, hi, I'm important. Well, I'm important too. It's kind of cool. It really sort of seems natural and feels right. Anyway, so this is the theory I've come up with. I've looked high and low in life. I've done a lot of looking around and researching, and I keep hearing that the devil's in the details, right? You hear it, don't you? And you hear the devil speaks in tongues, doesn't he? So this is like a bit of a riddle. And I got to thinking, well, the English language that we have, what is it if it isn't a multitude of tongues working together as one? It's the joining of all these strands of language in French, Italian, Latin, Germanic, probably Gaelic. It's a big mix-up of all these different dialects, these different languages. And the dictionary itself of the language of English, it's got to be the largest collection of details, probably the largest. There's some pretty big books out there, and I can't think of any other place that has as many tongues in one spot and with as many details for something bad, some kind of bad magic to hide in amongst. So that's where I'm searching, and that's where I've been searching, and my search took me to a very interesting place. Okay, right? And so I think of the symbolisms of the movies and the spiritual stuff, the fantasy magic type things. Bad magic always, the darkness hates to be exposed, isn't it? The concept that comes through is that we shine our light onto it. Bad magic doesn't like it. The evil doesn't like it. All you need to do is expose it from its hiding place. It's always lurking in the shadows, isn't it? In a labyrinth or in a dungeon or a cave, hiding in the dark, right? But it will disappear very easily when you put the light on, right? And the good magic, which is the light coming from that wizard's wand, which is the symbolism of the words and the actions being a symbol for good. It comes in and fills the spaces up, right? That'd be nice to see one day. All right, so the plan, and referring to the old meaning of words, we go forward, keep looking, go toward the clues, I guess. And by both of those words just mean to guard and to protect. I think it'd be important to guard, humanity. I think it's important to guard each other's lives. So, yeah, because we're important. We're a message. We keep the cycle going. Right? Rediscover the original language of humanity. I reckon it can be done. And I've got some really, really good clues together, which I was saying I was working on. So I've got to get that together for you guys and put that up on the next one. I think I've found some really, really, interesting stuff, which I really want to share too. I can't hold what I've found. It's it's about the language that we all use, right? So it's about all of us. So anything, basically, where everyone's saying, is anything I discover here while I'm looking? I'm sharing it out there with you guys. Hopefully you find something interesting and share it with each other. All right, because it's ancient wisdom, right? This is how we would have, really recognised and respected each other's message, respected each other as a message. It can create good magic and harmony in the world. All right, guys, I'll keep looking. I've got to put all this stuff together. It's really interesting, and I'll share it with you really soon. So until next time, love you all, and I hope to see you again soon. All right, guys.